Hello. It's really nice to be here. And I would just like to start with a curiosity. It's not my real question, it's just curiosity. Why don't you come to Canada more often? I think you only have 2 dates in Toronto, but it's a big country. And
I think she's talking to you.
just
Come to the vortex. Come to the vortex. There is one in every country.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay. And then you will not yearn or long for anything.
Oh, it's just curiosity, really.
Jerry and Esther cannot be everywhere at once.
Absolutely.
But your vortex is. And the source within you is. So the sooner you wean yourself from the dependence of Jerry and Esther dragging their physical bodies from place to place, and you just line yourself up with who you really are, then the more success you will have.
I would just like to reconcile a blissful, chronically happy person with my personality. That's not to say that I'm not chronically happy, but when I picture somebody that's just always blissful, I think of you guys, and I think of my mom, that you're full of energy, and you're always smiling, and you're surrounded by people.
But what you're really describing is someone who's aware of vibration, who is alert to emotion, who cares about how they feel, and directs thoughts accordingly. In other words, that's the only way someone can be consistently happy, is by understanding that you have the ability to choose thoughts that lean in the direction of happy.
Absolutely, and I do, but I think where I get stuck is that, it's really evident that, say you have me and my mom and we're at a party, my mother's the life of the party, and it's not that I'm not having fun, but I sort of look more like the bodyguard, where I'm I'm always cool, I'm calm, I'm very, I tend to be more private, more introverted, whereas my mom's all over the place.
You can be private and introverted and calm and in the vortex.
And
you don't have to be bouncing off the walls with enthusiasm to be in the vortex.
Like the little girl bouncing along, that's not me. I'm just I'm very calm. And
let us describe some characteristics of alignment. When you are really in alignment, you are fabulously interested in something. Now, we don't find that bouncing off the wall with enthusiasm. In other words, joy can be overtly offered. There are joyous songs that are full of such rhythm and beat that you can hardly hold your body still when you hear them. But there are joyous songs that fill you that are meditative in nature also. So you get to choose, you get to define who you are. You already have defined who you are, you see. We don't want you to mimic the behavior of others. We want you to get into the vortex and feel your own inspiration.
Okay, and that looks the way it looks.
It looks however it looks, and it looks different relative to different subjects.
Okay.
In other words, Esther walked up to a little baby yesterday that she has known only through email, and just laid eyes on this little girl and felt alignment supreme. But Esther was cool about it. She didn't lick the baby.
Absolutely.
She wanted to.
Yes. I guess that's sometimes I feel myself literally and it's almost like the more excited my mom gets, the calmer I get. It's as if to counterbalance, and I feel myself holding myself my happiness back, because it's just not
We're interested
calm.
in why this conversation is so much about the counterbalance of you and your mother, and not more about the counterbalance of the source within you and you. In other words, it's a pretty normal thing for someone to be born to a parent and to be weighing their behavior and their response to life against the behavior and response to life of the parent. But in the same way that we were teasing about weaning you from the necessity for these gatherings to be in Canada. We want you to wean yourself from the approval of your mother and even from a comparison of your mother, and let all of your comparison be about this thought that I'm thinking feels how, because the way it feels is a keen comparison between how the larger part of me thinks about the same thing, and the larger part of me has got it figured out. The larger part of me has the experience of all of this. The larger part of me is where I have projected myself to be. The larger part of me is the future of my physical manifestation and the current reality of all that I've evolved to. So
it doesn't really matter what. I use my mom as an example because we're so different, but I also worry about losing my friends, because if I keep myself at this elevated vibration, especially at work,
some of them won't stick around.
That's just it. I don't want them to stick around. I like my friend, like I like, especially my best friend. Like I understand that she doesn't.
Your best friend or any person that you know has within them components that align with the source within you and components that don't align with the source within you. So the only question that we would put to you or anyone as you're considering your friendship is, do you trust that your friend has components within her that align with her source and your source? Because what you're actually saying is, I worry, your words, I worry that if I will tune myself out of those lower frequencies and into the higher frequency, the higher meaning non-resistant frequency of the source within me, that my friend won't be there with me. And we want to say to you, your friend has those higher frequencies too. And while you might precede your friend into the vortex, when you hold your friend as your object of attention from inside the vortex, you are an inspiration that in the majority of cases calls your friend into the vortex too. And we got to tell you, friendship in the vortex is way better than friendship not in the vortex.
Oh, that's true. Okay. So it would be...
And next, we wouldn't give up the vortex for any relationship.
I know. Yeah, absolutely. So if let's say now that there's someone in, and this is even a little bit like a technical question. Let's say there's someone in my life that I'm interested, but I don't think he's the one that's in my vortex. Now, do I? I think I know the answer. Then use him for step one experiences to shore up the one who's really in your vortex. Okay.
I know that you're not the one, but I think I can use you. I think I can use you for data and sex.
No. Okay.